So we had a tough time last week, didn't we? Right? Storm Arwen came through and we couldn't be on. You can see that was round our start line. Good luck getting that one moving. Disasters happen, didn't they? And it's always about how you cope with them, how you plan, how you prepare, how you evolve. And that's really what we need to cover today as we get to the last video in our session about our refresh of the Jesmond Dean Parkrun report pack. Alright everyone, welcome along, weekend work. Week 10, right? Honestly, this has gone on far too long now, isn't it? We've already proven that we can do an awful lot, or actually really what's involved when we start saying we're going to refresh a data set and actually update or change what it is we do, right? And there's a lot involved in it, isn't it? It's not just a simple, we can just do this. And that was really the big goal that I wanted to get to with this data set video or series, that there's a lot that goes into it. And for all this is just a refresh, it doesn't just make it, we just do that, yeah, right? There's a lot of thought and evolution that goes through. So we're at the final stage now, and we want to talk really, what do we need to do? What's that whole plan, consider, deliver piece around? You know, we're going to plan our delivery. We're going to consider what actually is everything there, do that validation, that sanity check, right? And then lastly, we're actually going to push everything in so it's in. So I thought today, let's go through and do that. So we'll have a look, won't we, and see, is it fit for purpose, what we've done, right? Does it actually meet the needs of the client? In this case, my partner and community. So I'm lucky that I'm the main client here because I'm the event director. I can do what I like, right? But for you, you'll find that there's going to be a client who you have to be able to satisfy with what you've done. And this is something that happens. Next, you're going to need to document your data set. So we'll go through that whole documentation part. Don't worry, right? It's really, really simple. Don't get bogged down. Use Dax Studio though, and you'll fly through it. Next, we're going to do, it's that internal process. We won't cover much about it here, really, but it's that whole piece. What's your comms plan? Do you need to tell people, hey, we're making a change, we're doing this is going to happen, right? Is there a change management process that you need to follow in your business? I hope there's something, and it's not just, I feel like doing it, right? And then obviously, lastly, we'll publish it. And for this, we're also going to be publishing something that's published to the web. So I'm a little bit interested to know how this will all work. Right? I've deliberately not staged it, and I can't really find any documentation that decides which way or the other it will go. There seems to be a bit of some people are saying one way, some people are saying another. We're going to rename the report pack and publish it over the existing one, which most people are saying should work, and we'll then test the link. So again, validate and confirm that what you've done is right. In the real world, you might publish stuff up into your app and then update the app at the point of go live based on an agreed time frame within a change management process or with a comms plan at the very least, so that people know that, come 9 a.m. Monday, it's going to be this, that kind of thing. Okay. And then, of course, make sure it works. Make sure it works. It's not just a case of going, I hit publish, right? You need to make sure it works. So we'll go in, we'll cover all that today. Yeah. So should we cut an hour into Power BI desktop and the Power BI service and see what's going on? Champion. All right. So here we are, isn't it? Okay. We're data in, we've got our packs pulling together, everything. Okay. It's in, it's working. We can have a look. This is the original report pack as it stands, where we can pick an area, we can go and view the report, we can look at participation, we can see the latest event. So there's some tweaks we've got rid of. Like we've got rid of the latest event, for example. I didn't think it was doing us any justice, haven't it? It just didn't make sense. So we've got rid of it. Okay. We've got everything else so is in, it's working, it runs through the way we want it. And if we click on it and see what the report pack looks like here, you can see we've got information on a flyout, giving us some detail about the event, the specific events. We've got some more text giving us information across the 40 events, which is all nice. Yeah. So it's all coming together. Yeah. It's all getting there. What I want to do next is start thinking, what do I need to do? Now I'm confident and comfortable with this, that this makes sense for the way we're going to go. What do I need to do for it to go live? What are those steps? Step one that I've mentioned, okay, is of course documentation. Right? Now, the documentation side, if you go, oh, what do you mean? I hate documentation. Right? It's not as difficult as it seems. Okay. If you go to Dax Studio, okay, here, okay, and I would recommend download this. Okay. One of the other tools that you've also got here, let's see, is it under downloads? Isn't on downloads. It's something called the Vertipack Analyzer. Okay. Now this is from SQL BI as well, which is who Dax Studio is from. Download the latest version of this. Okay. 2 things you need to have. I'll tell you what. Let me download it. Okay. Download it. There we go. I'll download it. Okay. This will download for me. The Vertipack Analyzer is effectively, it's a spreadsheet. Okay. That's all you need to think of it as. So I'll open this now. Okay. So we've got it. If I go back to my Power BI report, which is here, okay, and I choose to go in my external tools to Dax Studio because I've installed it already, okay, what I can do when it's opened, here we go, right, is under the advanced view, I can choose to export data. Not data, sorry, export metrics. Okay, and you'll see it tells you it's going to export it as a VPAX. So do that, done that. Okay. Now all I need to do is head here, right? So I've actually done my documentation. That was it. Job done, right? You know, all them people who say, oh, we're going to charge you 5 days for documentation, right? I've seen it done. Right? That was the documentation that's really needed for your report. If you want full user documentation, that will of course take longer. You know, here's the screen. This is how you do our screen. Right? You're not going to get massive mileage from that though, in terms of getting everyone happy and making sure that they know what they're doing. Let me go find my VPAX file. Where is it? It is. There we go. There we go. Okay, so I'm opening up my Vertipack file. And it thinks about it. It's kind of a packaged up thing. Packaged up thing. That's a nice word, isn't it? Or turn of phrase. Take a while and it'll load. VPAX file read properly. Okay, so we can see there's some issues with it. So we've got some RI validations. Okay, we've got some other areas as well here. Build filters. Right, this is why, right, I keep saying to people, this is really important that you start to use Vertipack Analyzer, because time and again, when you're coming to do your updates and rebuild your reports, this is where you want to look. So we know we've done tons of work and rebuilt everything from the ground up. So this isn't too bad. And looking at this, you know, 4 violation errors, I'm not going to lose too much sleep over it. I know roughly what the likelihood is for it and where the issues are. But this is things that could be causing you problems. We can see from our measures, we can look at all the columns. One thing I want to draw your attention to is this, the database size. Okay. Now, if you've ever used date time fields, this is where you see that they just bloat out your database. Okay. If you're turning around and saying, all right, I need to compress my database, it's getting too big, look here is the first thing to do. Start here and you look and you'll say, well, do we need this field? This is the name field. So really what it's saying is, in the name field, effectively, we've got 310 rows, 3,110 rows, and 3,096 of them are unique. Okay, so completely unique. So it could be people's names have changed, something like that, but something's happened where there's a difference in the, or there could be people who've got the same name but a different park ID because they're obviously different people, like several John Smiths, for example, something like that. What that means is that it can't compress it very well, so it takes up a lot of space in the database. So one of the areas that you would think is, well, do we need that? Is it a valuable field? And this is something that you need to think through. So date times are notoriously bad for this. And this is because a date time is a unique point in time, right? So it ends up being they're all unique and they take up lots and lots of space. And you can't join with them properly because it's this little bit of space time, right? It just doesn't work. So you look through some things, you see what's going on. Looking at this, I'd be quite happy with it, to be fair. There's no one field that's like ballooned or something like that. Yeah, it's consistent, really. It is tailing down, but it's fields that I would expect that are big. You can confirm that by looking at the compression side, of course, as well. But the nice bit with this, the nice thing that it does is here in the expressions, the Dax expressions. So this gives us all the Dax code that's written in your model, right? And honestly, I know from experience when I've tried to have to go copy them out, right? Copy, paste, one after the other, right? And you go sick by the end of it. Here, it does it all. If you've gone down the route of being really sensible, which I've not done here, again, my big downfall, I'd never do enough kind of commenting. Put descriptions about your metrics or your measures here, they appear here as well. So you can see what's going on. So when you turn around and say, oh, I need to share something with my colleague, right? How did you write that measure? Oh, I wrote it here. It's dead simple. This is what I wrote. Okay. Coming to share it and say to somebody else, if you're going to build secondary reports, this is the structure that we've put in place for the primary. Oh, great. Okay, I understand. I now see how you've built those measures. Mind blown, right? How long did that take me to do the documentation and talk about it? I tell you, no excuse to not do it. Okay. So Dax Studio, everybody should have it who uses Power BI. It's just, you need it. It's like, you have to have it. So publishing. Okay, so remember, we do our comms plan, log a change, do all this. Yeah, change, I want to do it. Right, okay. What I need to do is to make it so that the public URL that I've got for Jesmond Parkrun now points to this. Otherwise, I'm going to have to tell everybody about it. So what I'm going to do with this is I was going to try this way, but, bit winging a prayer, cowboy it, because it seems a bit hit and miss. Most people saying don't use publish to web. Most people would include me. Do not use publish to web unless you really have a good reason to. I have. This is a free report that deliberately needs to be free. Okay. It's open to the web. Don't put business data there. Get it? Got it. Tell you. Okay. Before I go, it's one last thing. I keep looking at this line and I just don't like it. I'm going to have to put the stroke bit up with a little bit. You'll put up to 4, 3. Oh, okay. All right. I'm going to stop tinkering because it's just doing me head and I'll keep going like, I need to do this. I'm going to publish it. Hit save. Okay. I've renamed it so it's got the same name as my other report that was there. Right. And fingers crossed, if this works well, we go to Jesmond Parkrun. Okay. This works well. It should say, do you want to replace? Oh, replace the data set. So I'm hoping I'm going to hit replace. It'll publish it up. Got it? Excellent. Okay. So now the final step and the big thing to do, isn't it, is that whole validation piece, the piece that everyone forgets. So you find where you've put it. Strange enough, I'll take you to where you put it. I was thinking, should I show you? Should I not show you? Doesn't really matter. You get into the admin portal. Okay. And it'll show you your admin settings. And what you need to do is it's down in your embedded codes. And you'll see these are the free reports that you've set up to share. Right, and we've got this one here for it. So if we click here, let's view it on the web. fingers crossed it loads. It's loaded the new one. I'm amazing. Thank you very much. Okay. So suddenly we've gone through, we've done it, but we've thought all the way along, what do I need to do to make this work? So we've done it, haven't we? We chose to think through the problem, which was, let's make sure that we name the report, have the same name as the other one, publish it, overwrite it. That's a big thing, because one of the things I still see from people who are coming through the world into Power BI from a different background, especially Excel-based backgrounds, is I want to rename the Power BI report every time I publish it, and you end up with 15 to 20 different versions all in the same workspace, and you go, right? No, right? Different ways of doing things, think it through, plan it. By all means, you can have stuff in the archive where you say, right, this is the version that went in for this, but what's published up needs to be with the same name, or you need to be thinking through how you're linking these areas in. It's getting into the mindset of thinking in terms of an app, but, you know. What do you reckon then, eh? That went remarkably well, if I'm honest, right? I was expecting to have to do some magic jiggery-pokery or thinking through and go, right, how are we going to do, and having to think through it. It went in, it was perfect, right? But it went as well as it did because I'd sat and thought already. Because part of me was sitting there, well, I want to rename this to be report 2.1 or 2.5 or 3 or something like that. But, you know, I think I don't need to. That, I hope, is also going to show you that using version numbers in file names or report names isn't necessarily the best way to go. There has to be a better way of dealing with it and managing the concept that versions will move forward, because your end user who isn't data literate, isn't data savvy, isn't going to care. I don't care. You can by all means put it in as your app title. And I know in the past, number 4, number 3, people, people like that in the app. I'm going to like whatever, PMO 2.0, super cool. It's good, okay? But when you're actually doing specific reports, it doesn't make sense. But I think that's one of the headaches, isn't it, for people as they move into Power BI, is getting their mind around the idea that that single report that you would normally write, build, develop is like a legacy structure almost, because a good Power BI deployment isn't like this Jasmine Dean Parkrun report. It's more like one of the ones I would do professionally, where we have a data set that exists, and then from that data set, we connect multiple reports, potentially even multiple workspaces, multiple layers, but everything is going through into that one master data set, okay? And that data set is where a lot of time, effort, and because it's time and effort, there's effectively money is being invested into it, as opposed to diluting your spend and saying, well, I'm going to spend a little bit on lots of little reports that don't really. And then the problem with that is that no one knows who's doing this, who's doing that. And I had an issue even today with a client where we were looking at a report and it doesn't show what you think it's showing, and trying to find a level of traceability. Who wrote this report? It looks like the person left the business 3 months ago. It's a bit of a worry. Okay, things like that happen. So if you've got that central data set, yeah, of course, big issue when person leaves the business, but hopefully you've got that capability and that traction that we need to protect that thing over. It's just that report over there that Steve looks after. Yeah. From little acorns, as they say. So tell you what, yeah, hopefully we'll get a chance to go out and have a nice run this weekend. It'd be nice too. It is looking nicer out there, although this morning had some snow. It was terrible, honestly, shocking. So take care. Have a great weekend. Stay safe. Ta-ra.